just
Live streaming is on.
one of those options for the internal team pipeline trajectory would just be Umbrella Showcase website, right? With just the three options under it, right? Another option, obviously, that we just created today was the Umbrella Showcase website with the with the 6 options under it.
6. Yeah.
Okay, so the idea is like, hey, maybe there's other models as well where we could do maybe, here's with 3 under it, and this one has 6, so maybe there's an option 5 and an option 4. So we could have all those options, and then we could actually vote on those and kind of see where the team is leaning towards. Right?
Okay.
So vote on the different options themselves. And so that could happen on Thursday. So with the pipeline experience model, again, we just need to go back to step 0 and step or responsibility 0 and responsibility 1, and just start doing the work. So for this, it's like setting up the actual vote and setting up the actual brainstorming lists of all the possible ideas. We got started with that, but we never actually finished it. Right?
Yeah.
And I think we could do both of those things at the same time, because I think it's very helpful to have an idea of what our team wants to do. And then we can always update that based on the public's input. We can always change what we want to. It's very easy to change what we want to do as a team, but it's very difficult to redo the entire public vote.
Yeah.
So once we do the public vote, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
And all of that advises the workers and the team, right? Because whatever the public says is all a guiding direction, right? The power is always in the workers.
Yeah. So in my opinion, we should. I mean, I think for the team for now we're good. I mean, we have a direction for where team is standing and everything, and I would just focus on doing the work and get to the public vote, and then get back to the team, internal team later.
No, I'm proposing that we should do both as simultaneous trajectories, because they both serve a different purpose and they're both helpful to move things forward. Because I mean, let's say we go through the entire public vote and we go through the entire team vote, and they end up with slightly different variations of what we want to do. The actual result of what we're going to work on might be exactly the same, that SVG is the top priority, and then we all want to focus on SVG first and get that before moving on to anything else. Right? So the actual outcome could be the same for the first weeks or months.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? That the outcome can be the same, even though the process might be different.
Yeah, of course you can.
So I think it's fine to move forward with both. All I'm saying is that it's important to understand that they're just different, right? They both serve different purposes, but they're different. It's perfectly fine moving forward with the internal team and having clarity on what we want, what we're doing, while simultaneously doing the pipeline experience model and getting that set up for the future. And the pipeline experience model itself may end up getting cut from our priorities. Like, we don't actually know that we're going to include it in the launch yet. It hasn't been decided.
Yeah, but still we want to use it. The model we still want to use it. Or maybe we're not going to do the website, but I mean the model is still we're still going to go through the process and use it for the other websites, correct?
Yes. We're still going to use the model as just like anything else that's active. Like, it's an active part of our organization. Exactly. But how we engage the public and how we engage the actual process is because remember, we are currently on process 0. You're talking about process 1. So yes, obviously we're going to be using process 1 for setting up and organizing how we do the rest of the pipelines, right? But as far as the actual pipeline itself and voting on the priorities, if we're not prioritizing it as part of the launch, then it's not as important to get the whole public interface set up.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, but obviously, Jay, these options that we would give to the team, I mean, for the next voting, this option need to include all what we said, right? With more information, education. Yeah.
So maybe what we could do for each one of these is we could just do like, pros and cons of including it, pros of including it in the launch, pros to include in launch, and then cons to include in launch. So then that could like narrow down what we're talking about. So for example, if there literally are no cons to including SVG and everybody's 100%, basically incongruency of including SVG, then we don't even need to talk about that. It's boom, SVG is automatically included. Done. Right? So then instead of talking about everything that we're going to include, we can just talk about what we want to start not including, or what we, doing one at a time, where we can just start adding one at a time. Because if we know we want to add SVG no matter what, there's no way we're not going to add SVG. Then it's
There's
like,
no point in doing pros and cons. Yeah.
Well, no, we could do pros and cons. If there's no cons to SVG, we just include it, and we could vote on that as like, okay, we're automatically going to include SVG. We're automatically doing the Umbrella Showcase website. It is our prime trajectory. So then the only other question is, what else do we include, right? Do we include sponsorship? Do we include Life Support Alliance? And so then we're narrowing down the decision making to get more and more focused on exactly what is and is not going to be included, so that it's simpler. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think that's a perfectly fine direction to go. But again, remember, the pipeline is not about the launch. The pipeline is about what comes after the launch. Is just as important, if not more important, for the pipeline. Right? The whole name of the pipeline, the whole point of the pipeline is to know what comes next. That is the pipeline. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So even if the team sets up us for the launch, the public could set up what happens after the launch in relationship to the pipeline. But again, if the pipeline is not included in the launch, then I don't think we need to prioritize it as much.
Okay.
So we just need to figure out what the pros and cons are. Let's just go through that right now. That's a great step. So I think the last 5 minutes here, we just list pros and cons of including the pipeline experience model in the Umbrella Showcase website launch. All right, does that sound like a good use of our last 5 minutes?
Yes.
All right, so pros and cons. Do we need to split it up between pros and cons of including and not including? As like there's 4 categories, or is there just 2?
What do you mean? What would be the other pros and cons? Or?
You can do 4 categories. Like you could say the pros and cons of including it and the pros and cons of not including it.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about that, right? I mean, as we said, it's already part of our model, our working flow, and everything. I mean, that's just about the website, the showcase website, to include it for the launch already. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this is a little bit awkward. So why don't we just start with a list of factors, right? So so instead of going to pros and cons, let's just say list of factors to consider, right? To consider, because that's simpler. So we want to consider the fact that it is an active program of our team, right? So it's active, it's going to happen.
Yes.
And we're utilizing it for all co-creation experiences, including SVG. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is
obviously
process number 1.
Yeah. Obviously, a factor to consider is the work needed, the resources needed to for the output, right? To get it ready for the launch.
Is what? Or a little.
The amount, the amount of work and
Right.
the
But a lot of
additional
work.
work, additional resources.
So lots of additional work and resources.
Yeah.
Okay, additional work and resources. So in that same context, it's basically like, it is technically not essential for the launch, whereas like SVG and other things are essential, right?
Yeah. Also, the income generation of this website is more long term. It wouldn't be like
There's no short or medium term yet. So no short or medium term revenue generation. So for me, it would be $0 for a budget.
exactly. Yeah. So,
All right. Anything else we should consider in relationship to this particular model? I think it's a really great and exciting way to get the public actively involved in prioritizing our future activities, right? So it's a very, very fun and exciting way to engage the public, which is part of our our values, engagement and empowerment.
yeah. Also, following this line, it's also has we cannot really unpredictable opportunities for evolution. Yeah, we don't know what this could bring because, as you
Well,
said,
that would be a positive thing. So it's
positive.
it would be not unpredictable. It would be unlimited.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
Possibilities for future growth and scaling, because it just so it's very exciting because of the unlimited potential.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say future. I would say just unlimited possibility for growth and scaling because we don't know how. It's as you said. I mean, it's an amazing way for the public to engage. So you never know who can be part of this public and how it can then.
And
Uh,
anybody in the public can actually propose ideas and get involved, and then they can set up their own sponsored programs. I mean, it's all part of our entire story. It perfectly aligns with our story because people in the public can suggest ideas, get involved, you know, create a sponsored program, become a client and get org support for their cause. Right? I mean, it's just like boom, that it is our story.
yeah, Joyce, you want to add something?
I think the pipeline will tell us what the priority will be as we go through the prioritization process.
Yeah, so this will help us be more stable and clear moving forward. You know exactly what's going on. So it actually will help be more organized. So tell us our ongoing priorities so that will help us be more stable and clear. Yep. Anything else,
Yeah.
Joyce?
What else? This pipeline will include the planetary sessions, right?
No. Planetary sessions is separate, and we didn't even include that, which is why the spreadsheet is so important. We need the spreadsheet. So if we go back to topic 1, right?
Yeah.
So where we listed all of the projects, line 53 to 69,
Yeah.
all of these need to go in a single spreadsheet and allow everybody to vote on all of them. You just list them all in column 1, column A, and then you let everybody vote, and it's just like the ones that are the ones that people are interested in will bubble to the top. Like if people want to work on the planetary sessions, maybe that should be in our top 10. It's like we want to do them, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's important that we have the spreadsheet where everybody can start voting on all of the ideas instead of just the top 10. And then the top 10 are bubbled up from that into the voting form that then is publicly voted on. But anyone who wants to vote on all of the ideas, they can, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're good on our status. This is beautiful in terms of like, I think it's legit. We just need a list of factors to consider for the launch in terms of each and every one of these priorities. And then we go through that with the team. And then this is what will be presented on the voting form when people are voting. And then everybody will be informed when we're finalizing our decision. And we can do this on Thursday.
Okay.
And of course, whatever we decide can be preliminary until we get public input, and depending on how we decide on the umbrella, on the showcase pipeline experience. But either way, it's like it'll be really helpful for us at least to get focused on something moving forward, so we can get our timeline set up and like actually get everything organized. Because we can't wait for the public. We've got to move forward, you know.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Very cool, Jay.
Awesome. So yeah, so let's get this organized for Thursday, where we can have the list of factors for each individual component, and then we can also possibly vote on at one at a time, like, you know. But I mean, at the same time, it's like voting one at a time. It's like, I guess it's like a one at a time cutoff, right? So we have our priority list, right?
When you say components, Jay, you mean pros and cons. Organize the list of factors to have each factor organized.
I think we just decided that instead of pros and cons, we're just going to do our list of factors to consider for the launch. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, but when you say organize for Thursday to have each factor, related to for each component. What components?
So we just did the showcase pipeline experience. So for example, we could do the co-op. So we could look at each of the factors to consider for the contributors co-op. Should the contributors co-op, like, what is the factor? And we could also look at the criteria. So if we go through the criteria here, so criteria, we could boil this down into criteria that is simpler. So for example, the first one, is it active or not? Is the program active or not, right? The second one, utilizing Cochrane's experience, including attribute process, how does it affect the network and team, right? Lots of additional work. How much work will it take to accomplish before the launch, right? Other criteria that we want to consider is
it essential for the launch?
Is this essential for the launch? Right? Could we do the launch without it?
Yeah, we wanna like standardize this factor so that we can apply them.
What is the revenue generation model and potential income, right? So for this one, it's really great and exciting way to get the public, like, how does this relate to our values and purpose? Does that make sense?
Yes, no.
Unlimited potential. So where will this take us into the future and our vision, right? So how does it relate to our vision and future, right? Yeah. So I think those are the main criteria questions that we answered when we went through the list of factors for the pipeline experience model.
Okay.
For each one, we want to consider these criteria points, so that we can understand the pros and cons, but we don't need the pros and cons. We just need the factors to consider, right? And then we'll have a much better ability to vote. So another way of thinking about it is that we could have our priorities list, which we already have, priorities list, and under our decision-making protocol, once you have the priorities list, you go through one at a time and vote on them for yes or no to include for the launch. So I think this could be a really good process for us under our existing decision-making protocol, that instead of thinking about it like, okay, it's the top 7 and then we just include everything, instead we would go through and vote one at a time. Social value group is the number 1 top one. So then we vote. Do we all agree that social value group should 100% be included, or for sure finalize that it's included in the actual launch for the showcase, right? And then we would vote on that, yes or no. And then if it, ideally everything would pass a supportive consensus, and then we go through one at a time. Life Support Alliance, so we are 100% sure we want to include this, yes or no. And then we, this will narrow down exactly, yes, is it included or not, and then we'll also get a score for a final vote on, do we really want to include this or not. So the ones that are like supportive consensus versus full willing consensus versus like barely passing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so I think the proposal for each one based on our decision-making model, because usually when we prioritize, we go through one at a time, starting at the top. So the proposal is to definitely agree to include, XXX program in the launch, question mark. Right? I mean, I think that is the proposal. We just go through one at a time. Do we definitely include this in the launch or not? Right? We're not saying this is the final proposal, because then once we narrow it down to what we all agree definitely is going to be included in the launch, then that will create another proposal, which will be the whole picture. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So I think that we have a good plan for Thursday.
Yep.
And it could take us many weeks, if not a month or more, to actually do the pipeline model for the public, but it might not be a priority, because like by the time we vote on the showcase pipeline experience model to 100 for sure definitely include it in the launch, I don't know if that's going to pass with uh, supportive consensus. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But we'll see how close it gets for passing, and then once that'll give us a better idea of the direction we're going.
Yeah.
So I think we have a really good plan for both the pipeline model and the internal team priority trajectory, which I think are both perfectly acceptable. We just do both, move forward with both, because we need to move forward. We can't just wait for the public, right? And also, we might not prioritize the pipeline experience model, in which case we don't need to wait for the public, and that'll be part of our pipeline that comes afterwards.
So basically, this proposal would be the final output for finalizing the launch agreement.
Yeah, because the goal is the cutoff, right? So our goal is to get a team agreement on the cutoff, and we're just in this process. So the process. So again, it's all about the process and not the actual proposal. Process to achieve team agreement on the launch cutoff, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the first step 1 was basically, brainstorm everything to include. I personally think that this step should, okay, let's just go back. There's always the setup, right? Setup. So we kind of skip the setup, whatever. We'll get back to that. So the first step was brainstorm everything to include. I think this should have included the planetary sessions, but it didn't, right? But either way, I think this should be the same as the spreadsheet for all for pipeline, right? So we have the pipeline spreadsheet voting, which would include like 50 to 30 to 50 ideas, right? So I think this is the same for both. But anyways, we skip that step, it's fine. Then we narrow down and have our voting form, which we did. And we take the priorities from the voting form and vote on them, and review, what was it called? The considerations, the factors / / considerations
The
criteria
criteria.
for including in launch. Right, so then that's step 3. So we're starting to do that, so we need to finish that. Step 4 is step 4 is, I mean, we basically know we're not going to be doing planetary sessions, so that's why we didn't include it, right? So step 4 is to do a final vote on each priority based on the factors / criteria to include or not include. Right, and then step 5 would be, do a final proposal on the full picture and cutoff, and then after you get the proposal correct, then do a final vote on the proposal for the cutoff agreement, cutoff launch agreement, right?
Okay.
And then after that, you need to get your agreement on the process of working. You focus on 1 at a time. You focus on 2 at a time, etc., etc. So we need to have clarity. Once we have clarity on what we're going to be focusing on, how we're going to get the work done. Does that make sense in terms of how we're doing this? So we kind of skipped a couple steps with the split up and the narrowing, but we are definitely on step 3.
So we don't want to go back and do the steps, or we just want to move forward.
I mean, the only thing I can think of right now is the planetary sessions is the only thing that we're really considering as a team. But I don't even think that's something that we want to do because it's just not, it's something we're not working on. And it's like, it doesn't need to happen for the launch. We know it doesn't need to happen. We already haven't been working on it. So I think it's, we want to try to cut. 7 is a lot. So we want to try to cut as many as possible and not bring more in, Like if somebody has something that they are like, oh, this needs to be included, we can add it in. But I just don't think that there is anything, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna do that for the public, right? We're gonna work on
Yeah, for the public one,
on two on,
that we're
on
not talking
two on
about
two
the public
on two
process. The
parallel
public,
rails. Yeah.
anything. Yeah. The public process can be anything, and we'll redo the entire
Exactly.
prioritization.
Yeah, and we are
The
moving.
public process, the question for the public process is not what's going to be for the launch. The public process is really more of what's going to happen after the launch.
After that.
What is our top priority after the launch? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which obviously includes everything in the launch, but it also includes potentially more things that will be in the pipeline. Cool. All right, I got to get going. I'm already late. I don't know how late I am. I hope I'm not too late. Ugh. We have another session in like an hour, right?
Yes. 1 hour and 7 minutes.
I think overall we're looking like I'm gonna be late for that as well. Okay, but anyways, I was late for this one. We went over. I gotta go, but this was a good session. I think we have a really good plan moving forward. But do you see how when we focus on the process instead of just okay, what is the cutoff proposal? It's like the cutoff proposal is not what our focus is. Our focus is actually the process of achieving agreement on the cutoff proposal. The proposal will just automatically be created by going through the process. We just haven't finished the process yet. So right now we're in step 3. We need to get these factors and considerations, and now we have the list of criteria for what needs to be considered.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it took me some time to get on the same page, and it's just beautiful to see how.
And this is exactly what Mel was saying. She's like, well, how
How
can I make
it's
this
natural for you.
Yeah, this is exactly what Mel was saying, where she's like, how can I make this decision without all the information about each of these, to understand where it relates to. So that's exactly what she was saying. And this is what we need to do to be professional. All right. So I will talk to you guys soon.
Yes, Jay. Talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So, Alberto,
Yeah.
when will we do the management update, status update verification?
When is the deadline?
March 4th.
We're gonna be working that on tomorrow, right? Worker coordination.
Tomorrow. in the
Yeah,
session. And what's
Andromeda
that,
H3.
Hydra?
Yeah,
Ah, no, no. With J?
yeah. I think there you go.
Okay. But before that, we should have updated, right? Correct.
Yeah, we can.
Mm.
Maybe yes.
What tomorrow by Hydra? There is there schedule tomorrow for Hydra?
Or how do I think it's taxes?
My question: we are doing the prime what's that called, trajectory. Where to put this in the tracking hours? Where are you putting it?
This changed from remember SVG setup. Now
SVG
that is
setup.
that's is moved to the prime trajectory.
Okay. So the SVG I put there. I just changed to prime trajectory. Right,
Yeah, then
Alberto?
you can be assigned to have a different responsibility for just website work or something like that.
So this must be added. You mean?
Yeah, you need to see with Jay. You need to review if you think that
Ah,
you should have a separated work priorities.
okay. Because I did not see in your in your tracking
Mm.
this one. Do you have this in your tracking? You don't have. Where are you putting? Right?
I'm putting in this. I mean, this is more identity guiding document. So I put this in tactical ops, planning and
Um,
coordination. I don't know. It depends.
okay.
Yeah. You can ask to be reviewed at the main session.
The main session review. Okay. Okay, so what is the schedule tomorrow to make this management update?
Uh,
Management. Do you want or you want alone or what? Or
Now we can
you
work
want
tomorrow
help?
at the session. So
Yeah,
the
but
manager, yeah, we need the updates from the managers for each
the work
priority,
priority.
yeah, for each work, and then we need to, as a team, have an agreement, make an agreement as the management team.
Tomorrow is Wednesday. So, so do you think we will not work before the session? Oh, with Jay?
Ah,
Do you think we will not work before the session with Jay?
uh,
What is the session tomorrow, Wednesday?
tomorrow we
Huh?
have taxis, Hydra H3, then we have Andromeda umbrella, the worker coordination, general teamwork, and I think uh, and then I think Cobalt nothing, right? Let me see. Regular weekly
Ah,
schedule. Yeah. So
Cobalt.
no, so we have client and we have general teamwork Andromeda H3 and then Cobalt we have umbrella showcase website, but you're not scheduled for that. You're scheduled for general teamwork Andromeda H3 and you're scheduled for
Oh,
SVG
yeah.
client work.
So when will we do?
What?
What? When will we do it?
I told you Andromeda H3 general teamwork.
Okay, okay.
Make sure that you are updated on the managements for your management role.
What's my management role na?
You should know that.
Tactical ba? Tactical. Okay. What's my
I,
management role? Tactical ops, no? I signed up for that.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're a tactical ops. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, okay, okay,
Worker
okay.
coordination, right? Worker
Worker
criteria.
coordination. Yeah, worker coordination, the process, right?
Yeah,
The process. Remember Jay said
worker
not only a
verification.
single not only the single responsibility.
Yeah. All
So
right.
when to run the payroll? It's already by the team already said okay.
Did somebody tally the vote? There was a reminder on value team? Did somebody do the work?
Not yet, but everybody think already voted also.
Yeah, but did somebody tally the vote? Yeah,
Not yet.
doesn't matter who voted on it. There's a reminder here. Tally proposal 26 base up from pay. You see that in value?
Mm-mm.
You were pinged. It's part of your roles, right?
Okay,
So if
after
you
tallying, then we can propose for running, right?
yeah, so if you want to move it forward, you can tally the vote. I think you can do that if you want.
Yeah, we just average it, right? That's it. Correct.
Yeah, you need to
Average.
take. You can check how we do the tallying before, right? So you can check this communication here, and you do the same. You see all the votes, you check all the votes, and you do the tally. Otherwise, you wait for me to do it, or you wait for somebody to do it.
Okay, but what I know is just to average. Correct? Am I correct? Just
Yeah,
average. Yes, yes.
yeah. You do the sum of all the votes,
Yeah.
and you divide the sum by the number of votes, and that's give you the average. And then you see if it passes, if it didn't pass, and you make an announcement that it passed. You document everything in the server, in the value server,
Mhm.
and we can, and you say to the team that we can go to the next responsibility. You know which one is the next responsibility?
What is the next?
You know
What is the next? Run? Run the payroll or what?
what what is
Is it running the payroll? Wait, can I see my main doc? What is the next one for the payroll? Payroll, 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 payroll.
you want me to tell you?
Okay, just tell me because I'm having a hard time looking for it. Number two, number three, base upfront payroll, and then what else? Number three is what?
It's accounting.
Base.
Next is accounting. Yeah, you need to do accounting, and then after, uh, and then
Did
you
I do that before?
and then you do accounting.
Got it. So okay, shall we move forward tomorrow?
What do you mean tomorrow? When tomorrow?
Hydra is what? Hydra. Hydra is okay, okay, okay. We will do the management.
Just do the tally of the votes
Okay.
now. Now do the tally of the votes now. The accounting we already moved forward. It's ready. So if the votes, if the proposal passes, I can immediately communicate the accounting.
Okay. I'll just say that the the vote pass. Like
Look,
that.
here on line 10 in the wrap up, there is an example that you can use to make a communication about the tally.
Okay. 910.
Here in the wrap up.
Okay. 910.
Okay.
Where's it? Discord channel. This one. 910.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Alberto.
I'm gonna
Okay.
do the
Thank.
storytelling. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.